Merry Christmas! Can you believe it's been over a year since the last I transcribed? It's also been a while since the last video. You see, I've been really busy recently. I've been busy playing K-pop idols Boy or Girl on Sporkle.com. I must say, this is an excellent quiz, and I am proud to report I am almost on top of the bell curve. Before I start talking about Mystery Dungeon, I should probably tell you how I found it. Back when I was a child, I was super into Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic X, Sonic Underground, Sonic Rush on the Nintendo DS, you get the point. Now, I was super young, and I didn't know cartoons were fake, so I asked my dad if we could have Sonic as a pet. He then said, "Son, if Sonic were our pet, we would have to neuter and dequill him. Would you want that?" I didn't know what the word dequilling was, but for some reason I started to move away from Sonic, and honestly, I'm glad. That being said, little kid me was looking for some video games with colorful animals. That's when I found Pokémon Sapphire. Then a year later, the Mystery Dungeon series. Hi, I'm Joe. I compose music sometimes, and I transcribe the Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky soundtrack. Mystery Dungeon is an isekai roguelike. What is an isekai roguelike, you ask? Well, I can't tell you what isekai means. I don't know what it means. I'm not a dirty weeb. Sorry, that was rude. That was rude of me. I don't know what isekai means because I'm not a dirty, stupid, filthy weeb. So an isekai takes place in another world. You, the human, are transformed and transported into the world of Pokemon, where you must traverse dungeons.
And who wouldn't want to fly across the landscape, flirt with any male, anytime, anywhere?
Wait a minute, that's Rouge, not Rogue. You see, it's funny because I misspelled the word. The music in this game is outstanding, and one of the biggest influences on my compositions. Let's start. This track, the top menu theme, sets the musical tone for the rest of the game. Pitch percussion, precise layering, and surprising yet comfortable chord changes. First, we have two main motifs of the Mystery Dungeon series. The rising major chord with an enclosure, and the dance-like seventh chord. These appear in the vibraphone and kalimba, respectively. Pitched percussion holds the melody. Surrounding this melody are bassoon accents and pizzicato strings outlining the chord. All three interactions are very interesting. While the melody is straightforward and provides our ground, the bassoon unexpectedly anticipates beat 1. It doesn't start on time. You see, the bassoon has had a rough time. He's been drinking, so his reflexes are slow and he's hitting red lights. He's really late to the party. Not fashionable, mind you. Real black sheep behavior. Pizzicato strings come in and break the tension between the bassoon and vibraphone. They start on beat 1 like the vibraphone, but perform a hemiola, a polyrhythm accenting weaker beats like the bassoon accents, ultimately gluing things together. Finally, the harmony. The piece moves from C major to E flat major. Looks crazy, really isn't. C major to C minor isn't too far of a leap. Then C minor to E flat major isn't too far either. E flat sounds quite different from C, but it feels the same in context. Both are tonic in the key of C major. Surprising, yet comfortable. Remember, this is only the top menu theme. You get to look at a scared Turtwig as his idiot friend floods the entire cave before you start the game. I never knew until today that Chimchar was a bassoonist. In context, you aren't listening to this song for very long, yet it's a microcosm of what Explorer's OST is all about. Oh yeah, instead of saying Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky every single time, I'm shortening the name to Explorers. No idea what they called in the fandom. I'm not a part of the fandom because fandoms aren't real. The internet is not a tangible place. Nothing of value exists there. Anyways, let's start the game. Before you play the game, you must take a personality test to determine what Pokemon you are. The name of the game with this track is layering. For example, the stupid DS Choir Oz. They're going from an F shell to a E suspended seventh. These shell and suspended chords are the bread and butter of Explorer's harmony. Shell chords and suspended chords overall sound good, but they have a weird property where when inverted, their function changes. It's important to voice them with intent, and the Explorer's guys do this very well. We have pizzicato strings doing arpeggios, winds responding with trills, and chimes on the ands. We're pretty slow, and this layering helps create this timeless ethereal property. The perfect music, while some nameless entity asks you about ghosts in bathrooms. The last cookie. How to escape from my shed. The star of the show, of course, is the triplety harp. It ascends in F Lydian, and asymmetrically descends in E minor pentatonic. There's also a loose synth melody with an absurd range, just like the absurd questions in the test. Seriously, look at these. You fail miserably, everyone found out, and they're disappointed in you. What do you do? You're about to take the last cookie when your friend wolfs it down. Do you hit him? Your mortal enemy stuffed your face in a soda fountain. What flavor would you like in your final moments? Boom, crash, lightning. You wake up as a Squirtle.
Squirtle, I choose you!
You pass out on this beach with a bunch of bubble-creating crabs. This is really important musically. Music for games is incidental. It's meant to serve a part of a whole. If the music is too intricate at a section where something else is intricate, it'll take away from the experience. In this case, the artwork is the most important aspect. We have appealing sprite work with Krabby and the bubbles on the sea, and the bubbles drifting on the overworld, and the bubbles frothing in my neighbor's mouth after he ate my bag of funny pills. This brings a new challenge. How do you make music that is in the background and sounds good? Here's what Yoshi did. We have a simple alternation between 1 and minor 4, with softer instruments. The stupid DS choir from before, and the OK harp, providing a syncopated ostinato. A string melody rises throughout the piece with one main rhythmic cell. And some syncopation. Eventually, trumpets take over with a reversal of the harp part. These are two techniques to simplify your game music so something else can shine. Stick with one rhythm, and use a previously established melody. Oh yeah, in addition to the pleasant music, we have this imposing crashing tide. Everyone loves this music, and the bubbles. This wimp even loves the bubbles. You meet this Torchic. He's a big wimp and only has a rock to his name. Then some bozos steal his rock, so now he has nothing at all. Does he do anything? No. I can't stress this enough. Your partner is an absolute chicken. He talks like he wears sunscreen at night. He begs you to help him out with the thieves, so beach cave. The Beach Cave is the first level, and it's also the best song in the game. Check out the song form. This is really abnormal. Perfect for a spin-off game to start off with some weirdness. It's a hell of a lot friendlier than Tiny Woods ever was in Rescue Team. In our A section, we have a simple melody in thirds, a syncopated bass line, and a whack marimba part that does whatever it damn pleases. 2/3 simple, 1/3 wacky is a great ratio for something unfamiliar, yet comforting. This is why I put water in my cereal. B has some more typical rhythms and atypical harmony. C is a syncopated, chromatically ascending pedal, dissonant, yet exciting. Overall, Beach Cave combines a bunch of familiar musical traits in a unique way to make something strange and pleasant. Then we make our way to the depths of this pit. The song is a remix of At the End of the Road from Rescue Team, with some more fills. It also uses an important MIDI technique. Instead of using audio effects like delay or reverb, Explorer's melodic instruments approximate it by copy-pasting the melody twice, moving it over by an 8th or 16th note, and significantly lowering it in volume. Here's reverb. And here's the DS faux reverb. It's a common sound on MIDI-only hardware. Take a listen. Usually this plays when you complete a dungeon, but we're not quite done here.
Take that! Taste the pain! Take that! Taste the pain!
Torchic is a rock again, and wants you to create a rescue team. You accept if you're a child, and you begrudgingly accept if you're me, because you didn't mean to choose Torchic, but I promise it pays off for a very funny joke in episode 5. Guild time! There's a mystery dungeon motif and the explorer's motif again. Throughout the game, you spend a lot of time in this place, so it's really nice to have a good theme that pumps you up for some dungeon exploration. And culling the local wildlife, but that's secondary. We do this with march rhythms, ornaments, and strong beats, and some simple chords with good voice leading. Take this progression at the end of the piece. We could just do this. Or we could be cool. The journey of the horizontal notes always matters more than the vertical chords. Explorers teaches this lesson in many ways. We meet Shadot, the annoying second in command, and we argue with him for way too long. I have a lot to say about this character. Eventually he takes us to the big boss. This is the best guild in the country with the most seasoned explorer running it like a well-oiled machine. Many explorers have risen up the ranks throughout this amplifier of a guild. How powerful. How imposing is this Guildmaster? He's friendly, but abnormally fast at pivoting, so you know he's a bad son of a bitch. Wigglytuff's theme constantly uses a chromatic third approaching from below the target on beat 2. The second strongest beat having a quickly resolving dissonance. Heavens to Betsy, that's a mouthful of music theory words. It sounds like a clown. It sounds clowny. Wigglytuff's theme is very rhythmically consistent, since you're doing important stuff, like naming your team. The default option is Poképals, but I called my team Skyhunks. Then I fell asleep. I have a feeling I know what some of you video essay watchers are thinking, especially those of you familiar with the game and its questionable fanbase. This is the part where I find some pictures of the characters' friendship in lieu of this hilarious content. I'll say a quote from a Greek philosopher: "Those who cannot conceive friendship as a substantive love, but only as a disguise of eros, betray the fact that they have never had a friend." Wait a minute, he wasn't a philosopher, he was C.S. Lewis. You know, the guy who created Narnia. Goodnight is an interesting track because there's a mistake in the MIDI. Remember our delay trick from before? Take a look at this. The main line is 1/16th note off from the rest of the lines. Cross-referencing this with the rest of the song, it's safe to say this is a mistake. The echoed lines should have been a 16th note earlier. Other than that, we have some very nice chords arpeggiated in the left hand, and a catchy melody using the shots rhythm. Goodnight also uses one of my favorite techniques ever, odd phrase length. Most music is in 4-bar phrases. This is because we have 2 legs and 2 arms. No, that isn't true. I don't know the reason, and it doesn't seem like musicologists know the reason either. Sometimes you can make a phrase more elastic by having 3 or 5 bars. In the case of Goodnight, we have a 3-bar phrase. This creates a slight urgency from what the listener expects. This odd phrase is counterbalanced by a 2-bar tag at the end of the piece.
But Joe, 2 is an even number.
Well, it's the oddest of the prime numbers. Time to hit the hay. Okie dokie, my original goal was to get to the Time Gear remix, but this video's getting long. I don't want to droll on and on about a topic, and worst of all, develop a British accent. I like making dense videos with information that may assist others, not background noise videos designed to keep you on the stupid website as long as possible. Time is a valuable resource, and you can never get more of it. Make sure to use it well. Please, do not watch my videos.